Let me tell you something. Rhythm and Booze is here. We got our touring guitar player, Sweet Lou.
Strum that baby.
Clem is going to conduct this interview in just a second, but I want to introduce my cousin, Leroy. Get in here, brother. What's up, man? Yeah. What's going on?
Flip that up, baby. Flip that up.
Look at this hair. This hair is the finest. Kentucky waterfall.
You're a top position. Here's a meal for you.
This guy's coming out with us from now on. Whatever we do, this man's going to be by our side. With this mullet, we're going to get all the pussy. Tell him, brother, tell him.
Earbuds. What do you got to say, Clem? What do you got to say about that?
Hey.
Ask us some questions. This is your show. I'm sorry.
Ask my cousin a question. Ask my cousin a question.
Who's favorite wrestler?
Rhythm and Booze. Ask him another question.
That's right. That's a stupid question, Clem.
Ask him another.
Come on.
Ask him who his favorite country singer is.
Who's your favorite country
Hey,
singer?
Blaze Jr. Yeah.
Close second, Rhythm and Booze.
Yeah.
With Sweet Lou.
Ask him who's better in bed, Willie Nelson. Oh, wait a second. Never mind. Ask him a better question.
Ask him. Ask him.
Ask him.
Your top contenders going to be for the tag team belt.
There ain't no contenders because we beat every man in the building. Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, huh?
Play us a song, brother. Ready? You gotta join in.
This is our lead. Chime in whenever you want.
Rhythm and
Come on, sing along.
Rhythm and Booze. We are so cool. We are so cool. Rhythm and Booze. Rhythm and Booze.
This guy wants it up.
Frank and Buddy and Sweet Lou too.
We gotta go talk contract.
Contracts, come on, contracts.
All right, get that mullet up. Hey, Clem. Exceptional job, my friend.
All right.
Exceptional job.
That is great.
Hello everyone, I am John Germain and alongside Matt Foster, two former Upstate commentators, we're going to bring you a history lesson on the history of NWA Upstate. Matt, so good to see you again. How have you been?
I just got out of rehab, actually.
Trip number 3. Well, this match we're watching is right to the action. Features H.C. Lowe taking on the Osawa Syndicate's Chip Stetson at the old Yuki Club. That building had a whole lot of history before it finally came crashing down.
Well, yeah, this is something nice for me because I used to go to upstate shows at the Yuki Club, and if you actually take a look at who the referee in this match is, it's Louis Whiteshoes.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces in this match, of course. Loke and Chip Stetson, two of the all-time greats in the Rochester wrestling community. You have Louis Whiteshoes currently in NWA Upstate making his way through the ranks there. And then you'll also see at some point throughout this match the head honcho of NWA Upstate. We love just calling him the boss. Hellcat at ringside for this one as well. So really a lot of the faces that put Upstate on the map are seen in this contest. Now the action, as we said, got going hot and heavy early on. These two certainly not friends and went crashing to the outside. Now something to bring about H.C. Lowe. Here's a guy, came out of Rochester, made his way throughout the Northeast, really made a name for himself. And the one thing I'm always going to remember H.C. Lowe for was going to Elizabeth, New Jersey, a Ring of Honor show, and he hit the nastiest pile driver I have ever seen from the top of Scramble Cage against Special K. You were there with me that night. Crazy crowd, almost 2,000 packing. I think it was called the Sportplex there in Elizabeth, and absolutely insane spot. I mean, you were there. What did you think?
Where would you be without me? I have to correct you on everything.
Well, you know. But no, what did you think that night when you saw H.C. Logan? Here he's controlling the action, but that night hitting that move off the top of the Scramble Cage.
Well, you know, I've been following H.C. Logan's entire career. When he started ECW as the Extreme Official, down to where he is now, and definitely that moment in the Scramble Cage at Ring of Honor, even though he is a former Ring of Honor tag champ, was probably the highlight of his career.
Now, you'll notice over the entryway, even though this is building toward NWA Upstate becoming a force in Rochester, the old RPW sign over the entryway in this match. So again, this gives you a sense of how long ago this match took place, and we're talking about Rochester Pro Wrestling. So really, some great older footage that we're seeing here in this history lesson.
John, I think you and I were just children when this was going on.
Wait, you mean we're still not children? So we're adults, and that means we're legally liable like adults?
Don't remind me.
Anyway, this match, just looking at it again, I had a chance to watch this match a couple of times already. You got a sense of just how much animosity existed between Chip Stetson and H.C. Loke at this point in their careers respectively. And Chip really just, he was a guy that you looked at him, and throughout his whole career, you could always say he wasn't big, he wasn't strong, didn't have the traditional look, but by God, he gets in the ring every time, even today when he makes those rare appearances now, and he can just go. He can just go. And now the action worked its way back to the entryway as Chip Stetson in control once more on H.C. Logue. You know, the Yuki Club crowd, I know you mentioned that earlier, your experiences there, but you saw the crowd in this match, Matt. And, I mean, just talk about what it's like to be in the audience at the Yuki Club. I never had the opportunity to, but what was it like watching a show at the U?
Well, you're taking a look at it right now. The crowd was literally on top of the ring. It was an atmosphere that you cannot replicate anywhere else in this state.
Yeah, and certainly since this time, Upstate's moved around. They're at the All-Star Sports Arena, then they moved over to the Henriette Dome. They really have seen a variety of venues, but still, the first you can almost say has been the best. The Yuki Club, just legendary for its place in terms of wrestling history in Rochester and certainly New York State. Now, worth noting here, too, is just, you look at that ring, this is the one thing that jumps out at me. That ring, I think, has outlasted the careers of many wrestlers, not just in RPW, but in Upstate as well. I believe, just looking at that ring, it is still the same ring that has been so well traveled for Upstate all these years. Just the history of this whole of Upstate is captured in that ring, both literally and figuratively.
Well, think of the names that have gone through that ring. Think of the matches that ring has held over the years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Upstate 8 tournaments alone, my goodness, you could just write a book on that. But then all the matches you've seen really down the pipe have been fantastic. Loke back in control now in this match. And, you know, as we mentioned, Lewis Whiteshoe's the referee in this contest. And really, that's how he made his mark starting out in the business as a referee. Really did some great work with the stripes on during his tenure as a Zebra. Chip Stetson getting control back in this contest. As we take a look on the outside, and there, of course, is the boss, is Hellcat. Talking about the boss for a minute, since we have the opportunity, I know you and I got to work with him for about a year's time in Upstate. Just had a great time, has a great time putting shows together, providing fans with the best possible product in the middle of the squared circle. And to see what they've come from, again, you look back, this is several years ago, and now to see where the product has come to. Obviously, you have Upstate, they've branched out to other parts of the state, bigger venues, bigger names, but to see how Hellcat has really helped build it up as Chip Stetson gets his bell rung into that corner. really impressed what Hellcat has been able to do.
Well, the way this industry has always been predicated on is the independence, is just the love of the fans for their local feds, their local wrestlers. That can't touch anything you would see in a 20,000 person arena. This is where the loyalty is. This is where the heart lies of professional wrestling, is in the independent scene.
Yeah, and the fans, really, you're right, make the experience what it is. I know we've had the opportunity, as have many people watching this and listening to us, to see this environment dozens of times over and over. And it's just something so special. You know, we've been to a WrestleMania, we've been to other big fours for the WWE, and it's a fun experience, but it just can't compete with an intimate crowd. I remember one show in Canada that was absolutely insane, but that small crowd environment is what really makes independence, especially Upstate, where the fans are loyal and they're rabid. Really makes it special.
There wasn't a face out of place at all. You and I worked in Upstate. It was this, you know, a lot of the same people in the crowd all the time, even when more people would start filing in.
Absolutely, and you say that, it's a nice drop kick there by Loke into the corner and Chip Stetson's face. You say that, but it's not like we're seeing the same 10 or 20 faces. This is hundreds of people, time and again, coming out, and you don't see that in any other form of sport. You don't see it in any other walk of life. Really, you don't see that kind of dedication. Pinfall attempt there and a 2 count. The fans of Upstate, and really you can broaden it to independent wrestling as a whole, so dedicated to their local product. This match certainly took a toll on both competitors. You know, you could make the comment that Chip Stetson and Loke are not mat technicians, and I don't mean to say that in a derogatory manner, but what these men lack in ring prowess, they make up for and always have throughout their careers in just sheer grit and determination. And these guys will not hesitate to land a shot, as we see Loke here. Tried to go for the boot through the corner. He gets a chair for his efforts, but these guys have non-stop motors.
Well, if you like watching people beat the living hell out of each other, which I do, I certainly do, this is what you want to see.
You know, there's definitely more skilled mat technicians out there, but they, you know, you see these guys a lot of times and they don't have the motor, they don't have the drive to persevere, and that's the one thing that sticks out and really has resounded with these two men's careers, is that they have that motor and they don't say quit and they never say die and they just keep going. And that's something to really, if you're a young wrestler who looks at this, or if you're a fan thinking about getting into the business who looks at this, that's something to take away from this match. I know we've been trying to talk a lot about the history of the company and about the men involved, but look at how they perform, and they give it their all in that ring and really just put their bodies through hell in order to try and get the win.
And speaking of...
And once again, the boss, don't cross him as he jumps up. Just absolutely unreal to be looking at this footage now, seeing how far we've come. It's a dust in the eyes, a salt in the eyes. And a big DDT there from Chip Stetson. Member of the Osawa Syndicate at the time.
He looks surprised that Loke kicked out.
Well, you know, certainly those we've been saying, no surprise there. One other thing I want to talk about during this history lesson is, you know, you look at, and we talked about how the names have really, a lot of names have changed, a lot of new faces have shown up in the ring for Upstate over the years, but the two guys who are mainstays, I mean, Chip and Hellcat, they have been around since day one. And it is just incredible how dedicated and how loyal they are to Upstate. I mean, that's the other thing, is in a very dog-eat-dog business. You know, you talk about the loyalty of fans, which you almost expect to see in the independents. The other thing that's more and more a rarity in this business is guys who stick around their product, even if they bring it up for nothing. It's not uncommon for guys, whether they be wrestlers or promoters or managers, as a nasty T-bone suplex to the table by Loke. It's not uncommon to see guys jump ship and go where the pastures are greener, and that's the one thing that Chip, that he taps out here. Unfortunately, Loke, that's the one thing he and Hellcat never did. So a fantastic match featuring two of the legends of the Rochester wrestling scene, and certainly in Upstate. And suffice it to say, this match early example of what fans had to come to expect from NWA Upstate as they made the transition, not only into the name, but into that next generation of what was to come. So that's it for us for now. Coming up later in the show, we'll be back in a match featuring Pepper Parks and Cheech, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss any of that.
I'm Scott Clip here for Ksyfabe Dojo. Here with me, Boy Buchanan. How you doing, Scott? You all right?
Why am I here?
Who do you fought in the match? Who's the partner?
Rex Atkins, Retro Rex Atkins, Troy Buchanan, Retro Rex Atkins, the Retro Wrestling Connection.
What happened to the other guy? He's out.
Who?
Yeah, other taking partner.
Who? What's his name?
The guy was on a kick too. The guy he always gets drunk all the time.
What's his name, Clap?
I forgot his name.
What's his name?
Ivan. What's the guy? What's the tag team partner they did over here today?
Holy Blanchard. What? Who are you talking about, Clap?
The guy.
Clap, I should be drinking and banging right now. Your research sucks, Clap. Heaven so. Bob Barker! Are you going to conduct an interview with me or are you going to keep wasting my time?
What happened to
Ronnie Decay.
Ronnie the Decay.
Ian Decay?
Yeah, what happened?
Don't get me started about Ian Decay.
I'm sorry.
He makes me sick. Quite frankly, he makes me sick. It was supposed to be me and Ian Decay tonight against the Final Solution. Ian Decay, 2 weeks before the show, says I'm wrestling up in Hamilton because I'm going to get bloody and I'm going to drink a lot of beer. But I'll tell you what, Clap. Seeing Ian Decay's not here, I'm going to use you as Ian Decay. And if Ian Decay was in my face right now, I'd beat his ass for 8 years. And if he ever wants to come back to Empire, whether it's me by myself or with Rex Atkins, I'll take Ian Decay. I'll take that barbed wire baseball bat. I'll stick it where the sun doesn't shine. Because I have no respect for Ian Decay. I have no respect for anything that he does, Clap. I'll take his firstborn child. And I'll hit that baby over the head with a chair. Because I don't care, Clap. I don't give 2 shits about Ian Decay, Clap. He makes me so mad, Clap. We've been wrestling each other for 8 years. He's beaten me up. I beat him up 8 years. Ian Decay, you got the nerve to no-show me? I'll tell you what, you ever show your face around here again, I'm gonna rip it off. You make me sick, Clap, and right about now I'm not in a very good mood. I've had a bad day, you've made it worse. I hope you feel good about yourself, because I don't feel good right now. Turn that camera off.
NWA Upstate returns in September. Saturday, September 29th, 2007, NWA Upstate returns to Manette Hall in Henrietta, New York for a hard-hitting night of professional wrestling action. For more information, call 585-621-4293 or get your tickets pre-sale available at the following locations: Millennium Games at 3047 West Henrietta Road in Henrietta, New York, or you can go online to NWAUpNY.com. Hello again, folks. John Tremaine alongside Matt Foster here on the back end of tonight's episode. And right now we're going to get to a match. Pepper Parks taking on Cheech. Matt, this one should be a hard-hitting affair between Pepper Parks and the No Limit champion in Upstate.
Well, yeah, and you're forgetting Pepper Parks' pedigree in Empire.
Absolutely, champion in Empire. Nothing to be scoffed at. So 2 championship quality wrestlers in this match. Now Pepper Parks, relatively new to the New York wrestling scene, both in Rochester and out in Empire and Buffalo. He's been around enough now, obviously a champion in Buffalo, but somebody who is still earning his stripe in terms of his place in Rochester wrestling lineage and history.
In the annals of professional wrestling, there's been one state that has been able to determine just whether or not you'll be a star. If you can get a New York crowd behind you, no matter what city in the state it is, you know you're going to be the goods.
Absolutely, and these 2 men, certainly Cheech, through throughout his career has done just that. Showings of the tag team with Cloudy as Up in Smoke and Upstate 8s and other show sets with Upstate. Of course, that team has since parted ways, and now making a name for himself as a singles wrestler, the No Limits champion, and again, Pepper Parks. Here's a guy trained by Les Thatcher, a legendary name in professional wrestling, two-time HWA heavyweight champion. He's the Empire champion, as we've mentioned. He's wrestled in the ECWA Super 8. He has been around, an absolute top-flight professional wrestler is Pepper Parks. So the action underway now between Pepper Parks and Cheech. And you see here, Pepper Parks, here's a guy, Matt, I just look at him. He just looks ready for the show. I mean, it's almost like when you go to a minor league sporting event and you see one guy who stands out, that's Pepper Parks. I mean, this guy just screams prime time.
He's come a long way from his days as a cheerleader at ringside, that's for sure.
And he certainly is no stranger to laying in the shots, as right now he is stalking Cheech on the outside, laying in stiff forearms, that chop there across the chest.
Well, you see, he's doing exactly what he has to do with a guy like Cheech. Cheech likes to use a really high-flying offense, likes to bounce off the ropes a lot, and how do you keep a guy grounded like that? Exactly what he's doing. Just beat on him.
Beat him down, use that really stiff, solid offense. Now here's a lateral press, cover, 2! And the shoulders up, cover attempt again, 2 and 2 again. One more time for good measure. You know, Benjamin Franklin once said doing the same thing repeatedly in the same way, that's insanity. And that, dear friends, was insanity.
You know, if you're not going to keep him down after the first 2 counts, just, work on him. Stomp him in the head or something. Hit him in the throat.
You are a vicious little man, Matt Foster. Hit him in the throat. But you're right. Anything to get your way and win the contest. And right now, neither man giving an inch, trading shoulder blocks off the rope.
And, wow.
Nice psychology there. Nice use of the old noggin by Cheech, and a solid drop kick to follow.
Corner to corner for Pepper.
Dives in with that shoulder block. You know, really, something that has come along in Cheech's arsenal, although he gets dropped here across the top rope, he has really developed kind of that next level game. When you're a tag team wrestler, you can specialize in one thing. In his case, when he started out, like you said, a lot of high-flying moves, high-risk, high-reward sorts of things. But you look at him now, he still is using a faster tempo, although right now you wouldn't know it as his throat's being pressed against the middle rope. But he has certainly developed, the striking that you need, the ground game that you need to really take it to the next level.
Well, in this industry, you have to. You can't rely on one thing, because your opponents are going to find it out and they're going to exploit it. If you're a one-trick pony, you're not going to get anywhere.
Well, right now, Pepper Parks getting a long way with one thing, and that's his right foot to the entirety of the chest of Cheech, and then choking him out. You take the heel of that foot across the larynx, you can just crush that windpipe like it's a moth. It's incredible how sensitive the neck area is for something so exposed in a wrestling match.
Well, look at how many wrestlers in the past have just been out for years with broken necks. It's the most abused part of the body in a wrestling ring.
Oh, absolutely. You think 2 other kinds of injuries, certainly the most recent one, Scott Steiner's neck injury to the front to that trachea area, so a very easily compromisable body part. And Pepper Parks, you can tell that ring savvy's there as he is continuing to work on the neck with that side headlock. But Cheech now finding back to a vertical base. Back elbows, but all for naught, as Pepper Parks will just drop the hammer into the upper back.
You have to look at Pepper Parks' pedigree. He comes from a camp that produced guys like Nigel McGuinness. A camp that produces guys that will know exactly what to do in that ring at every time. Les Thatcher is not a pushover when it comes to training people.
I think Les Thatcher, in terms of just legitimate hard asses when it comes to training, is second only to the legendary Stu Hart. I mean, truly, this guy's reputation for training up his guys is unmatched. Although right now, Pepper Parks on the receiving end as Cheech to the apron, up and over, goes for the senton, but gets knees to the back, and that, Matt Foster, your reaction said it all, the grimace and the hand up to the mouth. Ooh. Cover here, 2 count only. But again, Les Thatcher, and that's part of the training that Les ingrained into the mind of Pepper Parks. He had an opportunity, recovered just enough of his wherewithal, knew what was coming, knees up, avoids the move.
And I don't know if you saw, but Pepper Parks then immediately went for Cheech's ribs. You expose the ribs, you start obviously affecting his ability to breathe in the ring. One broken rib, you're done.
Well, you figured he started on the neck that compromises breathing, goes to the ribs, compromises breathing. It's almost understated, and I really hope we point it out here, how much intelligence it takes for these guys to get in and do the damage they need to put an opponent away. And it's all thought out. There is nothing that happens by accident in that ring. Although right now, Pepper Parks, high rent district, almost kind of a rare mistake there for Pepper Parks. Maybe got a little too comfortable with Cheech down on the mat. That's a little bit of youth showing through, despite the overwhelming intelligence that's been seen. And now Cheech going up tempo and takes down Pepper Parks.
Cheech is starting to become a house of fire there as he goes for the cover, and
hooking the near leg only gets a 2. Maybe he might have had a 3 had he hooked the far leg, gotten a little better leverage.
Maybe hooked the arm around the neck.
Nice job there from Cheech as he's got Pepper Parks up against the rope, making it double. As both men's chests at this point have to be hurting, they're certainly red. Cheech ducks the clothesline, and he takes Pepper Parks to the outside. You saw there at the very end, Pepper Parks' hip and the side of the torso slamming against that ring apron. Matt, we put a ring together on a time or two. That is unforgiving steel and 2x4s. You do not want to hit that, and you certainly don't want a human being hitting you flying through the air with the greatest of ease like he's swinging on the flying trapeze. As both men down on the floor. So thus far, Matt Foster, both men, Pepper Parks and Cheech, giving it their all. Two bona fide champions in New York State, giving these fans their money's worth at Minette Hall.
Well, it's a very old adage. It's cliche, but it still holds true. This match is about who wants it more.
All right, now it's still up in the air. Nice! Almost veteran-like move there by Pepper Parks. Saw Cheech heading back into the ring, pulls him down, and again, that unforgiving ring apron.
That's all metal. You bounce your chin up, that's a concussion blow.
That's a concussion, that's a broken jaw. Cheech through the middle. Opening there between the bottom and middle rope. 2 feet to the face, and you gotta wonder where the countout is, as both men have been on the floor an awfully long time.
Well, the referee might be showing some concern for the competitors in this match, too, and not counting them down to make sure they're actually able to answer anything.
Well, both men now stammering back to their feet. Both have a grasp on the ring apron. Both now back inside. This, if nothing else, I know we talked about it in the history lesson earlier on the show. This is the kind of grit, the kind of determination that defined Upstate in the days of Chip Stetson and H.C. Loke, still showing through in guys like Pepper Parks and Cheech, as now they're just trading massive forearm shivers upside the temple. That's Concussion City if you catch too many of those. And a nice block by Pepper Parks. Sent there over. Oh, my God! The stiff boot to the back. That's exposed flesh. And now Parks going to be going for the pepper shaker. No, Cheech rolls him through. Parks up. Misses the shot for the head. Cheech has him. Go for the backslide. No. Reverse. Covered. Bridge. And that is it. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. I don't know where Cheech came up with that maneuver. Just bridging over. An impressive effort from both men. For Matt Foster, I am John Germain. So glad you could join us for this episode. Stay tuned, stay aware, and look out for the next episode from NWA Upstate.